Traveling to consciousness, exploring spiritual journeys to find answers in uncertainty.
What is up, conscious monkeys? Welcome back to another episode of Traveling to Consciousness. As always, I'm your host, Clayton Cuteri, and in today's podcast, we are going to single-handedly talk about war. And we are going to talk about the idiocracy that is going on in the world. Because it literally is, and it literally feels like there are children just playing around as if it's some sort of game that they're just playing with the people of this planet. And it's absolutely disgusting, and it has to stop. So in today's podcast, I'm going to kind of give you my unfiltered breakdown and opinion of what is going on with Israel and Iran and why this was destined. I had made clips in the past. I don't think I talked too much about Israel attacking Iran because I didn't think they would do it without Trump getting us in. I thought Trump was going to be the one that was going to invoke it. But luckily, I think Trump's kind of staying out of it, which, I give him some praise for that. But first of all, let's take a step back, realize what happened. Basically, what we were told and what was broadcasted out in the news is that Iran is close to nuclear weapons and that Israel, in its own form of self-defense, decided to attack first, going after Iran's nuclear program, and then them firing back into Tel Aviv, into Israel, and going after Israel's defenses. And of course, there's reports of upwards of 400 people being killed in Iran. And I don't know what the casualties are in Israel at the moment, but it's at least 5 to 10 people. I don't have the numbers. I don't know if anyone has the numbers at this moment. It's probably more. And my gosh, there is so much to go into this. First of all, for someone to preemptively attack someone and try to claim self-defense, I find to be a very laughable and egregious idea. Iran has been coming to the table to talk about nuclear agreements in good faith. At least it seems like good faith. I guess we don't know. So I'll retract the good faith, but they've at least been coming to the table. And then to see Israel go out of their way and target high-ranking officials within the Iranian government and then do this surprise attack, essentially, to destroy their equipment, it shows, in my opinion, that Israel was not operating in good faith. Furthermore, gosh, there's just so many elements to this, and it's hard for me to just wrap my brain around. I just want to kind of throw it all out there. So hopefully this comes out somehow poetically. But you can see in a lot of the devastation whenever they targeted Iranian officials and killed them, you can see precision drone strikes that Israel carried out where they would only take out half a level of a building. And so now we have to couple this with what's been happening in Gaza, where they've been just absolutely leveling every single building to the ground. And so I think it highlights that Israel's goal, first of all, it highlights that Israel's goal in Gaza is not just about targeting people who are using human shields. It's not like that whatsoever. Because they clearly have precision drones that they're able to use to go after individuals. So that's a lie that they've been feeding us. The next thing that we have to look at is this whole narrative of Iran and nuclear weapons. Now, I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know what their actual progression rate is, but if you had to ask me, I think probably every country has nukes. We just don't know about it. Whether that's true or not, let's assume we go with the narrative that is being put before us. Dating back to the Obama administration, there have been talks and public figureheads on the news saying that Iran is months away from a nuclear weapon. And all of this has been a ploy to get the United States to back Israel to get into a war with Iran to topple their regime. That's been the end goal since the 90s. That has been Israel's de facto goal since the 90s. They did it with Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Afghanistan. They want to destabilize the Middle East because then it gives them power in that region. They'll become the most powerful operator in that region, the most powerful country in that region if they just keep destabilizing governments. And if we haven't learned anything, when we destabilize a government, things always get worse. things always get worse whenever a government is destabilized. Because no matter how bad it is, it gets like the people found a way to put up into charge, right? Maybe it's oppressive, maybe it's what, but they've put in charge somebody, and maybe it's not the best person in the entire world. Majority of the time it's not, but it's the best person that they were able to get up into power. Enough people back them. Enough people put their energy behind that person. And so if you take him out, you now literally have moved down a peg level and are now using a lesser humane person is going to become in charge of that country. That's just what happens. Look at any of the countries that America has invaded, has toppled, any regime change, the CIA has gone in and devastated. And now videos are even starting to come out of protests going on in Iran, going after the government. And I am sitting here just thinking, like, how much of these are actually natural Iranians going out there, or how much of it is actually being created by the CIA or by Mossad to create this civil unrest? Because there's, again, plenty of documentation that both of those Kufi agents, the CIA and Mossad, have gone into countries and created riots within the riots/protests, whatever you want to categorize it, have gone into regimes so that they could force that regime change to create pressure, because then it will validate Israel doing whatever means necessary to completely destroy the regime, and thus propping up, putting in maybe a terrorist organization, someone who's worse, so that they can be the powerhouse in that area. This is not an old playbook. It's what they've been doing for the last 20 years. And if they do it with Iran, their job, their mission will essentially be complete at that point, because this has been the long-term goal. And after that, it's expansion. It's expanding Israel into all of these countries. They'll play the long game. They'll wait as long as they need to. And then to try to court the United States into this. So first of all, let me take a step back and say it's great that Donald Trump is saying that we're not getting involved in this. At least that's the reports I've seen, is that he says we're not getting involved to this. We're not fighting Israel. He has said that if Iran tries to take any action against America, that there will be hit with lethal force. Now, again, be careful of false flags. How do we know? You also can see that Bibi Netanyahu has gone publicly and been saying how the assassination attempts on Trump were from Iran. No evidence being presented whatsoever. The dude just goes out there and starts saying, well, Donald Trump should probably back us because Iran was the one who created these assassination attempts on his life. And it's like, dude, you've lied about all of this. You came into Congress. Bibi Netanyahu is the same person who came to Congress, I believe it was 2002, 2003, lied about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Complete lie, didn't exist. We go in, waste trillions of dollars, kill almost 1 million people in that war, and for some reason it's like, oh, well, we didn't learn our lesson. Is Iraq a better place now? Is Afghanistan? No, they're all worse off. All because of the intervention that America has done on behalf of Israel, who does nothing for us and basically just bribes our politicians to send them billions of dollars. It's absolute absurdity. It's absurdity. And so now we have Israel proactively initiating this war with Iraq. And the next part of their playbook is to Iran. And now the next part of their playbook is to allow Iran to shoot their missiles into Tel Aviv, into, what would you call it, civilian populated areas, because that's where the Iron Dome is. That's where their missile defense systems are in civilian areas. Civilians die, and then Israel will use that as a justification to go after Iran even harder. Oh, well, they killed our civilians. Meanwhile, they've been using the justification in Gaza that, well, Hamas is hiding behind civilians, so, it's all fair. It's all fair in war. And to put the cherry on top of this, and I want you to listen to this very carefully, because to put the cherry on top of this entire situation, and quite frankly, to help you understand my viewpoint and the way that I view the world, whenever this all started, top Israeli government officials, including Bibi Netanyahu, left the country. I think they went to Greece, is what was reported. So they start a war with a foreign country and then allow their civilians to get killed. This is the most diabolical and lowest level of leadership possible. Sacrificing their own people so that they can justify expansion or going after another country. This is every single time Israel has been attacked, Bibi has fled the country. And to me, it is the lowest level of leadership. And furthermore, and why I bring this up, is because based on a lot of my social media content that I put out, I think majority of people will sit back and think that I'm pro-Palestine and anti-Israel. And I want to be very clear that that is not my stance whatsoever. I'm not pro-Israel. I'm not pro-Palestine. What I am pro is the common people, the common man, the common woman, the common children who are dying because these government officials want to flex, because they feel like they want to expand, because they're possessed by demons, whatever it is. I stand with the common people of Israel, of Iran, of Palestine, of Ukraine, of Russia, who are giving their lives and dying because they have leaders who are incompetent. Sorry, they're not incompetent. They know exactly what they're doing because they have evil leaders who start wars and then allow their people to die. If a leader starts a war, and this goes all the way back to George Washington. George Washington was the last person who led from the front. If you look at Braveheart, if you look at any war that occurred before George Washington, I'm blanking on whatever the date would have been, like the 1780s, something like that. Everything before him, the leader, the king, the ruler, was in front of the troops, was the one who ran into battle first. And now, because of technology and because of the cowardness, because of the weak men that are in power in all of these countries, they leave the country. They flee the country. And to me, I think that there is nothing more evil, more sinister, more weak, more cowardice than that. To throw a stone and run away to let your own people die and face the consequences of you throwing that stone. None of their kids are put up for the draft. None of their kids go to war. No. It's all the other people. It's all the other people. So I really just want to hammer that home, that I do not consider myself pro-Palestine, pro-Israel, pro-Ukraine, pro-Iran, pro-Russia, pro or anti any of these. I am pro the innocent people, the common man, and I am anti all of the governments. And I know that's a difficult thing to understand, but yes, you are allowed to love and cherish the innocent people of all of these countries and realize that whether it's from the media brainwashing them or from their government who have created these hostile environments, these pits of hell across the world, that you can be mad at them. You can be anti the weak, cowardice leaders of these countries. Because it's very easy. It is very easy for someone to go on TV or to push a button and talk about war. And then to order somebody to drone strike or to kill someone from a faraway place. That's easy. It's very easy. 10-year-olds do that on Call of Duty all the time. But yet for you to run away shows a lack of the word that's coming to me is brevity, but I don't know if brevity is the right word. It shows a lack of belief in your own ideals and your own purpose and the world that you want to see. Because a man, a true man, is willing to die for what he believes in. Because he knows that the world that does not exist the way he believes is not a world that he wants to live in. And since these men continuously decide to flee the country to allow their people to die, shows to me that they don't even truly believe in any of the stuff that they say. It shows me that they're weak, that they're cowards, that they're going to hide, that they're going to allow all of this to play out, to kill and hurt the common man. And they're the ones that foot the bill. It's our brothers and sisters who die. It's our mothers and fathers, our sons and daughters. While they go run and hide. And who knows? The leader of Iran could be right beside the leader of Israel right now. Putin and Zelensky could be in the same exact room right now. Why don't they fight it out? If they truly believe in what they're doing, they should have their own, whether it's a fencing match, whether it's a sword fight, whatever you want to do, they should be able to sort it out on their own. Why kill hundreds, maybe thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people when they're not even going to put their own neck on the line? Like, that's fine to me. If we want to have it where you have volunteers who say, I believe in the vision of this man, put them up. And I believe in the vision of this man, put them up, and you guys go at it. But the leaders are nowhere to be found on the battlefield. They flee their countries, and they don't care. They simply don't care. They only care about themselves. They only care about their family. They don't actually care about the people that they represent. And it's quite frankly extremely disgusting and extremely irritating that we have gotten to this point where we have put in weak people into a position of power. And I want to take a step back and acknowledge that it's understandable how we got here. When you don't have good options, when everything's going okay, you don't really care who's put into power. When everything's running smoothly, it doesn't really matter, right? Because everything's good. Everything's at least good enough. But what happens, and what we have been seeing happen, is things start to get worse. They start to get worse. They start to get worse. They start to get worse. And the next thing you know, we have situations where the people in power don't even believe in the ideas enough to put their own neck on the line and die for them. And to me, that is not a leader. That's a coward. And if you have the world being ran by cowards, well, you see it. I don't have to tell you what happens because we're living it right now. We're living in this world that is completely ran by cowards. And all we can do, all we can try and do, is our best. All we can do is try our best to make the world a better place. To make every single day a little bit better than the last one. To at least look towards the way, the path forward that we want to go. And at some level, it still breaks my heart that whenever I point out the hypocrisy maybe of Bibi Netanyahu, that the individuals of Israel take it as a personal slight against them. Or if I were to talk about how, I don't know, Trump makes some bad decisions. But I do want to give Trump credit. I should give him some credit in this. And I think it's great that he is staying out of it. I do think that this does not look good for him, for his, let's say, legacy. Because he touted himself as the president coming in who, number one, was going to fix the Ukraine-Russia war within 24 hours. And then he also considered himself the president who no wars were started under. And He wasn't able to do it with Israel and Palestine. Clearly, he wasn't able to do it with Israel and Iran. So it does not look good for his legacy in those regards. That's for sure. And I don't know what it is, but I'm looking at him and I feel like he's losing a few steps. So I don't know what's going on with him, but I hope everything's okay. And I really hope that we can find a way to get back to a place where we have true leaders that care about America and put Americans first, as opposed to the technocracies and the digital era and the corporations that have infiltrated our politics. I really hope we can find a way to realize that the answer does not lie within the Republicans nor the Democrats. The answer, first and foremost, lies within each individual one of us. We have to make our own lives better. Because if we individually make our own lives better, it will make America better as a whole, thus making the world better as a whole. And in my journey, in my pursuit, that's how I found the American Congress Party. I realized that the American Congress Party, the ideals that it represents, puts people first, puts the individual first, puts our minds and bodies and our spirit first. The human spirit is put first. And I just listen to Republicans and Democrats. And it feels like none of them get that. They feel that this world is ran by money and that that's their God. And what they serve is their ego, wanting to destroy other people because they live on the other side of an imaginary line. And it's truly heartbreaking. It truly is. So I think the best thing that we can do is, first and foremost, get our own houses in order. Control your mind, your emotions. Become centered, become powerful in your own life. And that's the point of the Indigo Education podcasts, the Indigo knowledge, so that you can learn the spiritual techniques that help you become powerful. Powerful in the ways that matter. Because it's the knowledge that all of these people use to get into power, to become powerful. So you, as a common man, common woman, should have that knowledge as well so that you can be powerful. You don't have to think of it in terms of becoming president or becoming a billionaire, but to become powerful over your mind and your body and your spirit so that you understand what and how this universe works. And again, I tell you, completely just stay 1 foot in, 1 foot out with all of that knowledge. Because what you'll come to realize, what I realize, is even if you go in half, okay, maybe, within 6 months you follow that stuff, your life will change very quickly. And you'll become calmer and more calmer and more calmer and more calmer. And so it's a very powerful process that you will undergo. So I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. And I just hope that process brings forth the new heaven, the new earth, the Satya Yuga, Moody. I think it's called Modi. Just the time of peace, the time of heaven on earth, because that's what we deserve. That's what our kids deserve. That's what the future generations deserve. I mean, everyone wants to talk about climate change, but nuclear war will wipe away all of that. So for us to sit here and just allow this type of stuff to happen is very sad. And again, I think the best way that we can prevent this from happening is working on ourselves, making ourselves powerful in our own households, in our own bodies, in our own minds. And we will create a ripple effect that will spread throughout our communities. You know, I was having a conversation the other day with someone, and I was telling them about the American Congress Party, about our plan. And this girl said, you know, this is like a really big idea, world peace, starting your own Congress Party. Like, it's very ambitious. But that's just like, to get the entire country to like get on board with that. That just seems that seems impossible. And I told her, because, okay, there was another part of this conversation, right? Because we were talking about the present moment, enjoying the present moment. And I was at a bar, and she was saying like how, okay, you're enjoying the present moment. And I was like, yeah, of course. She's like, well, how does this present moment, enjoying this at this bar, bring forth that vision of creating world peace? And I was like, wow, that's actually a very good question. I said, you know, the forest fires. She's like, yeah, like the ones that were in LA that basically took up all the fire, thousands, hundreds of thousands of acres, whatever it was. She's like, yeah. I go, what did that all start with? And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you know, it took up massive amounts of land, caused massive amounts of devastation. What did that start with? And she was like, I don't know, what? And I said, a spark. All it takes is a single spark. And that single spark can spread throughout the entire world, especially in this digital age. So all you need to do is be a spark. Maybe it'll take some time, but you'll see how quickly, how fast your life and the world will become a better, more peaceful, more harmonious, more colorful place. So be that spark in your life. Be that spark that travels everywhere with calmness, with grace, with peace. Because you can be. It's within every single one of us. You can do it. And I'm encouraging you to do it. And I think this world will appreciate you and reward you for doing it as well. So with that said, I appreciate you all. If anything in this podcast resonated with you, please share it. Leave a rating if you feel so called to do so. But above all, just be that spark that keeps improving yourself. And if for some reason you decide to not improve yourself, well, we're going to have a discussion about it whenever I see you in the 6th dimension.